That's what it was. It was if there was, I fell off the wall, stuff like that, but I never wanted to do it. They do see it. You see it as an overrated. I gotta get it out.
You're not having my family, right?
So what you call it? We just put the 911 button. I'm here.
Just have a seat anyway. There you go. Love the seats.
Me too. I go to lunch when it.
No, I just said, my head is pretty.
I'll be nice to him.
Our office is up. Big house.
It is now 7 o'clock. Now call the meeting to order. Can I please,
All counselors are present.
please join us?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3A is special orders of the day and announcements. 3A is introduction of newly hired city employees.
Thank you. At this time, City Manager Luca, would you please invite the department heads to the podium?
Yes, and I would also like to take this opportunity to formally introduce to the community two interim appointments to department head positions. First, if I could have Drew Pennington please stand. Drew has been appointed as the Interim Economic Development Director for the City of Beloit. He has been with the city's planning division since 2007 and was promoted to the Director of Planning and Building Services in 2012. He has worked on long-range planning for development and redevelopment of the city and has had a great deal of experience with a number of community stakeholders. His master's degree is in urban and regional planning and in business administration, both from UW-Madison. So I wanted to just take this opportunity to briefly introduce Drew as the interim economic development director, and thank you, Drew, for your service. Next, I would like to formally introduce our interim Public Works Director, Bill Frisbie. Bill, if you would stand, thank you. Bill Frisbie has served with the City of Beloit Public Works Department for over 15 years in a variety of roles. He progressed through the organization from beginning as an engineering intern while still a college student to his previous role as the Director of Water Resources. We appreciate his demonstrated leadership over the years, and he will be overseeing engineering, water resources, operations, and parks and recreation activities. He grew up in the area as well and has a Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering from Bradley University and a Master's of Public Administration from the University of Illinois Springfield. So thanks to both of these individuals serving in the interim capacity. And then I am going to ask Bill Frisbie to introduce some of his new employees. And then after he has finished, we will hand it over to Inspector Stigler so we can introduce a number of new individuals in the police department.
We have two new employees in Public Works. Neither of them are here with us tonight. Rudy Cochran was hired, he started last week as an equipment operator wastewater in our collections group. Rudy grew up in Beloit and he has been a seasonal with us in horticulture since May of 2018, so we're happy to have him on as a full-time staff member. And second, we have Sean Casey Schmidt. He is an equipment operator for Parks and Forestry. He's born and raised in Janesville, has worked several years for Quick Trip and Marling Lumber and he started with us just a couple of weeks ago. So we're happy to have him on board as well.
And Inspector Stigler, if you could please come and introduce your new crew.
Good evening. Thanks for this opportunity. On behalf of Chief Sales, I'd like to introduce the hires that we've hired since January of this year. And so we hired in January 10th, we hired 4 that are here tonight that completed the academy in May, and they're currently in the FTO program. That's Antonio Richardson, please stand up. Monte Babilius, Julio Martinez, make it, and Anthony Love. Then we had a lateral hire that was lateral hire, so he was a police officer in another police department that was hired in April. That's Zachary Anderson. In May, we hired Joshua Bittner, who was another lateral hire. And then on June 30th, we hired 2 more lateral hires, Christian Pope and Stephen Herrera. So us hiring lateral hires in the past was pretty much non-existent. They were few and far between, but we've made it a major emphasis under Chief Sales to try and hire people that are already trained and experienced in law enforcement and bring them into our agency to make us better. And one of the ways we do that is the turnaround for a hire, as you can see by the ones that we hired in January, they're still in field training. But the lateral hires who already don't have to go through the academy because they're already certified, we can put them through an expedited training program and get them out in the street in a couple months instead of 9-10 months. So we're very happy to have the lateral hires. So thank you. Most of these guys work the overnight shift, so.
Item 4 is public hearings. There are none. Item 5 is public comments. Yes, well, at the meeting. We have Jeff Klett, 1980 Boulder Lane will be the first one.
I am Jeff Klett. I live at 1980 Boulder Lane, Beloit, Wisconsin. I happen to be neighbors with Nancy and Kevin, so they know where to reach me. I've never been on this side before. I'm used to being on that side of the school board. But as a former school board president, I would like to first thank each of you as council members. I know the time that you give up from your families to serve this community. It's a lot to it, and we go through a lot of criticism, and we've done a lot of great things in this city, and I think we need to always make sure we focus on the positive. Also, from my standpoint, you probably know that I am running for the 45th District Assembly seat as a Republican this fall. If I do win, and I hope I do win, I will always be there to work with this council and work with this city to make it the best that it can be. But the really thing I really wanted to say tonight was this. I want to thank Lori Luther, city manager. I've had a chance to work with her over the years. She's provided leadership to this committee that we needed. She came here under difficult circumstances. I got to work with Lori 2 years ago during the pandemic when it was at its height, when we didn't know really much about COVID. We didn't know if we'd have enough facilities to put people in the hospital. Lori came to me and said, could we use Aldridge as an emergency facility in case the hospital can't take everybody. And with Lori's leadership and Tim McKevitt from Beloit Hospital, it wasn't as easy as saying we're going to do this. We had to go through some hoops to make it happen, but we did. And that's really what Beloit's about, community coming together. And I think Lori Luther has been a big part of this community for the many years you've been here. We're going to miss you. I want to thank you for your time here. I wish you and your family the best of luck. And you can leave here knowing that you left Beloit in a pretty good place. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bill Dorr, 836 Church.
Can you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Bill Dorr, 836 Church Street, Beloit, Wisconsin. And I'm here about the Ordinance 8B, which is the Park Avenue corridor that we've worked for traffic calming. And it was actually July 19th that I first started this whole thing with the neighbors asking to get some traffic calming things. I guess I also entered the abyss or the black hole of people leaving departments and everything. So took 3 meetings to get what we got on this thing here. Did we get everything we wanted in some cases? No, but it was fine. Everything was done very well. And here to tell you that I also emailed everybody in there to contact you, tell you that they support it if they do or not, so you get some feedback. But just to let you know, we support it, and Scott was very nice to work with, the city engineer, and there was no recordings and no one taking notes, so it was a lot of fun for me. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
James Ramsey, 2294 Skyline Drive.
Can you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure can. James Ramsey, 2294 Skyline Drive, Beloit. I'm here because I have a complaint about the noise at the Telford Park Pavilion that's being rented out by the city, and nobody being able to keep the noise within a limit. The music is amplified, and it's actually, there probably has been more complaints, I don't know. This is my first formal complaint, and I wanted to come down here in case you could give me any answers as far as how to take care of it. I mean, it's great that the park's been used there, but the noise when it starts at 10 o'clock and then doesn't stop till 11 o'clock, and if you've ever been sitting next to a car that's had the music cranked up or a loud exhaust, it's about the same, except it's for 10, 11 hours a day. And I don't know why it is that way. It's not like it's a wedding where you go to and it's a couple hours. I've lived across the street since 1976, right across the street from the ballpark, and never had any problems with the noise coming from the ballpark, from the snappers. But yet, now this seems to exist, and I just am kind of at my limits to anything that's going on. The pavilion itself wasn't built to be a concert hall. I mean, everybody realizes that. There's some issues as far as where the speakers are coming from, whether that is the hockey players and whether they're using, iPhones. But regardless, if you were to come in my house, you would hear that resonating boom, 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 and it's just too much, especially if it's more than one day. And like I said, I could get petitions from the neighbors if that would be something that was necessary. There's a few other things that are kind of strange. The park is open to 11, and other parks are closed at 10. And like I said, it's just when the music starts from there is an ordinance that music isn't supposed to be more than 30 feet, shouldn't travel more than 30 feet. And I know that my house is at least 200 feet away from it, and I'm sure there's nursing homes over there now, and I don't know whether those people would, be able to have a voice, but I'm sure it's annoying to them too. So anything that you people could come up with, if you've got my name, and I would like to know, what's happening, because it is, if you can imagine sitting in your home, not being able to listen to your TV, even with the windows and doors closed, it's very annoying with the air on. It's just more than you can think about the time. If it was an hour, you can shrug that off. But when it's this long, and we have notified the police, they've went over and asked them to keep it down, but they don't seem to understand that they have no control over it because the rules ain't set right, that they have, what they can cite them for. I mean, they don't come with equipment to check the decibel level, and I know that decibels are a strange thing anyhow, because there's music and then there's amplified music, and what we're getting is amplified music, and that's where you hear mostly the bass, and it's just too much. And I just want to say this is my first notice, and from there, if there's anything else I can do, it'd be great to hear from you.
Thank you, and the staff will be in contact with you.
Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public that submitted?
Yep, we have Reverend Dr. Norris Jackson.
Okay. Reverend, can you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Greetings. Reverend Dr. Norris E. Jackson, Jr., 1314 Athletic Avenue. And I am here as I have been informed that this very well is the last meeting of our village manager, Ms. Lori Curtis Luther. And I wanted to come and to speak and to just share with you. So to you, Madam President, and to all the members of the Beloit City Council, I thank you for giving me this opportunity. Over the 5 years that I've been here, I've had the privilege of working with this distinct board, and I've had even more so the privilege of working with Manager Luther. And I was trying to find a Bible. I am a preacher. And here's something that came to mind. And I think we all know it. It's something we were taught as children. Do unto others whatever you would like them to do to you. This is essential for all that is taught in the law and prophets. And that's Matthew chapter 7. And I thought about that. I thought about how working with you, Manager Luther, and how you, when working, and sometimes it wasn't easy. It was quick work on most of it, and you didn't complain. You always thought about the betterment of the city, and you thought about how and whatever the programs we were doing at Bethel would help and aid and support in bringing cheer and helping to make good citizens of all of our members and those that participated. One that comes to mind was the very last time that you came, and that was at our event in April where we had a community health and resource fair. And it was yourself, and I think Ms. Forbeck was there, and I tell you, it was a pleasure seeing you and the words that you shared and the resolution that you gave. I think our certificate citation that was given to us, it brought tears to my eyes and joy to my heart to know that the work that we're doing is not going in vain. And I wanted to come and to thank you for that, and for all of you for coming together to push to make it happen. And I want to thank you all for also partnering with us as we are moving forward on August 6th. And I got to encourage each and every one of you, please come out. This is a community-wide where we are giving away 1,000 backpacks. We are putting backpacks in the hands of 1,000 Beloit residents. How is it going to happen? It's a God-sized problem. And I'm inviting all of God's children to come and to partner with us as we do it. We are looking to work with that. And I know that a lot of that would not have happened without your involvement and your pushing, your gentle pushing, your loving your neighbor, as yourself, and looking for the betterment of Beloit, and I want to thank you for that, and I want to thank each and every one of you for partnering with us and standing behind us. I got to tell you, we have over 10 churches in the city of Beloit that are partnering with us. Wow. 10. And the coalition that we have is the Beloit Coalition of Churches. And we just signed on, and Pastor Morehouse kind of got on me because, I thought we got word out to him, but Beloit Life Center just got on with us. And so we are really, really, really happy. And I thank you all. And I thank you, Madam Manager, and I just continue and hope and pray that everything will go well in the selection. We know and we're trusting that God will send someone to help build on what you have set on the shoulders of what you have done, Manager Luther. God bless you all.
And Pastor, don't leave just yet. I just want to say thank you for those eloquent words that you spoke on behalf of our city manager, and that certainly is, I can't speak for all of us, but I think we're right on board with you, so we appreciate your kind words. Now, also, thank you and your congregation and all these partners that have gotten together to do this and to raise these backpacks, and to gather together to make sure that our kids are ready for school, because that's one of the issues that we've been hearing about. We have to educate our children, so we appreciate you for doing that. Now, before you leave, for those that may be listening, could you give a name and address, tell them who they send it to, or if they want to write out a check or a money order, where would that go to?
Oh, thank you. I guess to talk about
think we can
money,
make an exception this time.
Well, okay, thank you very much. All checks are to be made out to Bethel AME Church, and to be mailed to 1314 Athletic Avenue, Beloit, Wisconsin 53511, as we all know. In the comment bar or in the memo section, if you can write, Beloit Coalition of Churches, backpacks, health and resource fair, something, so that we can make sure, because we are being very transparent with all monies. We weren't excited about having the combined, so our treasurer, who's with me along with my wife, Tanja, please stand. They have set up, our treasurer has established an account to separate this, so there is no mingling of funds. I don't want no smoke. No problems, I'm sorry. In that area, I want none of that. So we are holding all funds separately. We are giving an account of everything that we have, and anything that we have left over in terms of book bags, we will be donating them to Project 1649, along with the Beloit School District, and I believe there are some other agencies, Caritas, that we'll be giving some to. The whole purpose of this is to make sure that our children, what I found was that I guess just examining and going through all this, is that we have over 500 children in the city of Beloit that are homeless or non-traditional, and we wanted to minister, to provide for them also in this. We want all students, and so we've partnered with Project 1649. As you know, they deal in particular, with the non-traditional students, and we wanted to make sure that we have what they need so that we can meet the needs of all the students. So please, if you have backpacks, you can drop them off. I believe we're getting a date, but that drop-off will be one of our partners, and that is Emmanuel Baptist Church. The pastor is Kevin Newbern, and I don't have the number, but I'm certain someone in here does, that they can give. But we need to make sure that that takes place. I believe the date we have is the 30th of July, and that's a Saturday, and the time
Like from 12 until 2.
is from 12 to 2. So you can come to Emmanuel, and can you give the address of Emmanuel, please?
1151 East Grand Avenue. So that would be if you want to donate backpacks with supplies in it.
Yes.
You can drop that off. But otherwise, I think it's important to state that you said this was a community-wide event. So
Yes, it is.
you're looking for volunteers.
Yes.
Other churches that may be looking for a project, please reach out to Bethel and get involved, because the goal is 1,000. But
It
we
is.
know, personally, I'm an aggressive person, so even though we say 1,000, I would like to do 1,500 or more. So to my colleagues up here, I did mention it at the last meeting. So either you can bring the donation to me and I can make sure that they get it, and then that is the case. And I want to thank you, Madam President, for allowing this to go a little bit longer, because it's a community event. But then also allowing us to respond, because we usually don't, for public comment. But I do want to give accolades to Pastor, because since he's been here, his first event was a prayer walk when he got here.
Yeah.
And I will say this, for a lot of you that may not know, him and his wife travel here at least 2.5 hours. They don't live in the city, but you wouldn't know that because they're always here. And they travel at least 2.5 hours. Tonight, I said, he said he wanted to be here, and I was like, well, you can send a letter. He's like, no, it's important for me. So that's how committed he is to the community, and that's the way he's carrying the church. And Bethel has been here a long time. But I think what we need to yield ourselves to, and as we look, and I say it over and over again, we can look at our kids and we can say they have. And some people cannot fathom that some people do not have. But there are kids out there, students out there that do not have, and those are the students that get targeted the first day of school by other kids who may have it and they don't. So we want to eliminate all of that. The event's going to be at Summit on August 6th.
Summit Park.
From 12 to 4.
12 to 4.
Come out.
Come on out.
Come on out, have a good time. And I will say this, even though he won't say it, because he's a pastor and I'm an officer at my church, and this is what we do. We collect money.
Come on.
So even if you don't get a chance to donate before the event, if you show up at the event, this is just like any church.
That's right.
We do not refuse funds. So
Do not
if you show
refuse.
up even on the 6th, we will certainly take that as well. If your businesses want to donate, please reach out and make it happen. So
Yeah, make it happen, and thank you. Because what we're looking to do, if you can just afford me a few more seconds. Number one, we are partnering with the workforce. We wanted to make sure that if there are families that are hurting in any way, that they are taken care of. We are also partnering with the Department of Health Services for Wisconsin, and the hope and plan is to have physicals, back-to-school physicals, that will be given on site. And if not given on site, then that we will have where you can get some type of voucher. So we were working all that out. We want to make sure our children are ready to go. The second thing that is really just as important is also that I see a lot of people out here, and I think some of y'all have a talent. So we are having Beloit's Got Talent. And Beloit's Got Talent is where we're opening the doors up to all residents of the city. I told the committee, I said, listen, I don't want this to be a gospel fest. I said, this is open. I said, if you play the spoons, I said, you come on and play the spoons, the bells, or harmonica, or even if you whistle, I want you to come on out and whistle, and we will applaud you, and we will have a real good time. The Beloit School District will be supplying lunch, so we need you to come on out. Please give your support. We have sign-up sheets. I didn't bring any with me, but we will have them. Go to our website. I'm hoping that we can get the city to put our flyer up when we get it revised. We have some more partners that we're adding. We have about 30 partners, just so you know, that have that are all coming in. And so please, thank you for this moment. Madam Manager, thank you for your service, your dedication, your faith, your help, your support, your determination, and I thank you just for the love that you have for this city. Oftentimes, those that work the hardest, they are not the ones that are in the forefront. They are the ones that are behind. I tell my church that all the time, and so I just want to thank you. You may have been overlooked, but you're not overcooked. So thank you for your service, and thank you, Madam President. Thank you, distinguished committee and councilman and lady. Thank you all so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor, and we're so grateful to have you and your family in this community. Thank you. Are there any other members that signed up to speak?
Brooke McKern.
Sure if I can top the pastor.
Can you?
Yeah, so we just were thinking we should have had you on our planning committee.
Can you state your name and address for the record?
I'm Brooke McKern. Address, I'm representing Vivint Health. Address is 136 West Grand Avenue, Suite 290. I'm here for Ordinance 8A along with Zandy Finn, representing Janesville Mobilizing for Change, Debbie Fisher, representing Youth to Youth, and Sabrina Citizen, representing for the community event on August 31st at Riverside Park. It will be the first annual overdose awareness walk in Beloit. I don't know if you're familiar with Rock for Recovery, an event that is in October in Janesville. This is a spin-off. Well, it was going to be a spin-off, and we wound up with huge amounts of sponsors, contributions. Just it's been truly amazing. We plan on having speakers, informational booths. I'm going to do Narcan training, distribution at this event, along with another partner, Aaron Howell from BASE, who is not here tonight with us. But just wanting to thank you for letting us have this night. My son died 3 years ago from fentanyl poisoning. He was 23 years old. And I want to make sure that, and I know everybody says it's not my child, it's not my family member, it's, I didn't think it was either. I worked in the ER for 15 years. I thought I knew everything there was about addiction and, so this is an event where we're all going to come together as a community and bring a united front to substance use awareness. We're also going to have a meeting at the end for recovery. Recovery is always the biggest goal in substance use disorder. So we have a lot of things planned. The police, City of Beloit Police are going to be planning on serving some food and some other fun things. We have events for children. So it's going to be a good family event. I did hand several flyers out. If you can, please hang them, post them, and if you can please attend, that would be great, because we've put a lot of work into this event and a lot of heart and soul. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We got it. Yeah. Were there any other comments for this?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. Are there any members of the public who did not sign up that would like to address the council this evening? Final call. Any public comments? There were some public comments provided in writing. They were sent to our full council and will be reflected in the record. That said, our public comment is now closed.
Item 6 is consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered at this point on the agenda.
Would any councilor like anything removed from the consent agenda? Can I please have a motion to approve the consent agenda, including items 6A through 6I? Moved by Counselor Levy. Is there a second? Second by Counselor Forbeck. Are there any questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Motion carries.
Item 7 is licenses. Item 7A is consideration of Resolution 2022-123, approving late renewals of alcohol beverage licenses for license period July 1, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. ABLCC recommendation for approval was 4-0.
This is a resolution. May I please have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Moved by Vice President Forbeck. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Levy. Are there any questions or discussion?
Comment.
Counselor Levy, you can go ahead with your comment.
Thank you, Madam President. I noticed that on our agenda several times we have approving late renewals, and I guess I kind of asked the city clerk and city staff before here some of the reasons why we are late with these, because I think that from year to year, people know when their licenses are going to be renewed, and I just think that we really need to take a look at making sure that when those licenses are getting ready to expire, that people are getting them renewed, so we don't have late renewals. I think that we could put it on our calendars nowadays that we can get a reminder. So I just wanted to put that out there to the public and to the counselors, that I think that if we're running a business, we kind of understand our business. And I know every once in a while it slips our mind, so I'm not saying that it shouldn't, but I just think that for late renewals, I would just like for us to maybe continue to pay attention to that and kind of see who's constantly late and seeing if there's anything that, more that we can do, because I know staffs continue to remind them and make phone calls and email people. So I just think we need to discuss with the businesses and let them know the importance of getting their application and stuff in on time. Thank you.
Thank you for that mention, Counselor Levy. And I just want to add, when they're late, there is also a late fee that goes with that, so you really want to watch that. So thank you. Any other further comments from any other counselors? At this time, there's a motion and a second to approve the resolution. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
Item 7B is consideration of Resolution 2022-128, approving a new Class B beer and Class B intoxicating liquor license for Deal Enterprises LLC, doing business as Coaches at Krieger, located at 1611 Hackett Street. Derek Deal, agent. ABLCC recommendation for approval was 4-0.
Would you provide us with an overview, City Clerk Treasurer Granger?
So Derek Deal is acquiring the business from Chad Smith, located at 1611 Hackett Street, Beloit, and is applying for the Class B beer and Class B liquor license for the license period ending June 30th, 2023. Chad and Josie Smith have submitted the alcohol license relinquish form. They're requesting approval for the period. The complete application publication fee was submitted, referred to ABLCC. They made the approval of 4-0 to council to approve.
Thank you. This is a resolution. May I please have a motion to approve it?
I'm so moved to approve.
Moved by Vice President Forbeck. Is there a second? Second by Counselor Levy. Are there any questions or discussion? At this time, there's a motion and a second to approve the resolution. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. The motion passes.
Item 8 is ordinances. Item 8A is consideration of ordinance number 3758 to amend section 18.02 sub 15 sub X, authorizing outdoor vending by Janesville Mobilizing for Change Incorporated for a community event at Riverside Park. This is the first reading.
Thank you. At this time, our interim Public Works Director, Bill Frisbie, will present.
Brooke gave us a good rundown of what this event is. The ordinance here is to allow for vending in Riverside Park for this event. It'll take place August 31st, and there will not be any alcohol served at this event, and they will have presentations and vendors.
Thank you, Bill. This is the first reading of an ordinance. Is there a motion to suspend the rules to allow first and second reading? I think I saw Counselor Day first, but he didn't say. So we'll say a motion by Counselor Day, seconded by Counselor Anderson? Or was that?
It was Anderson.
Was it Anderson? Okay, Counselor Anderson. Okay, so are there any questions or discussion? At this time, there is a motion and a second to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Motion passes. Now may I please have a motion to approve the ordinance?
I so move.
Moved by Vice President Forbeck. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Terrell. Are there any questions or discussion? No. At this time, there's a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes.
Item 8B is consideration of ordinance number 3754, establishing various traffic control regulations on Park Avenue, first reading.
Again, our interim Public Works Director, Bill Frisbie, will present.
City staff has had ongoing conversations with residents of the College Park Historic District regarding their concerns related to traffic speed and safety along the Park Avenue corridor. The city retained Taddy as a traffic consultant to perform a corridor study and make recommendations for improvements along Park Avenue. Staff is preparing to implement the recommendations, but many of them require update to the Index of Special Locations. Number one, existing traffic signal at Park Avenue and Woodward Avenue will be removed and replaced with a four-way stop sign. Parking along Park Avenue will be restricted in both directions within 25 feet of Clary Street, and that's to allow better visibility at the intersection. The school speed zone along Park Avenue from Bushnell Street to a point 200 feet south of Bushnell will be extended to a point 50 feet north of the intersection. High visibility pedestrian crosswalks will be added across Park Avenue at Clary Street, Emerson Street, and Chapin Street. And by high visibility crosswalks, they won't just be the standard, just one line on each side. It'll be called a ladder, so it's got all the markings all the way across the road. The right northbound lane on Park Avenue at East Grand Avenue will become a right turn only, and the right southbound lane on Park Avenue at Broad Street will also become a right turn only. Those are the items that require the ordinance amendment to the special locations. In addition to that, there's a few other things that we're going to be working on. At Bushnell Street, there will be some flashing crosswalk signs that are solar powered that will be installed also. We are going to be installing some dynamic speed feedback signs along the corridor so people can see how fast they're going. I reviewed the speed analysis along Park Avenue today, and it was about 45% of the cars were going at least 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. And in a 48-hour period of the study, there were roughly 250 cars that were going at least 20 miles an hour over the speed limit through this section.
Wow.
The city also has a grant that we're working on for pedestrian or bike accommodations along Park Avenue. It's a whole corridor study that's being done. The first part was already done in South Beloit up to Broad Avenue. This grant would take that next phase from Broad Avenue up to White Avenue. Then we'll have a gap there that we still need to work on, and then the town of Beloit's taking it from roughly Bayless all the way up through Inman Parkway with the bicycle accommodations. And then some other future considerations that we're looking at from the request from the residents are some landscaping within the medians in that section, and getting the crosswalk displays where it's walk and don't walk to have the timers so people know how quickly they can or how much time they have to get across the intersection. And we're part of an ongoing project. We're updating the streetlights to LEDs in the corridor. This was taken to Traffic Review Committee, and it was approved unanimously by them.
Thank you, Bill. May I please have a motion to lay over the ordinance?
I so moved.
Moved by Vice President Forbeck. Is there a second? Second by Councilor Blakely. Are there any questions or discussion? I just want to, you go ahead, Councilor, Vice President Forbeck. I'll go after you.
I am just wondering, when will this start? once I'm assuming we're going to pass this.
Yeah, these upgrades would be done yet this fall.
Great.
Counselor Day? I saw you looking. Oh, you're good. I just want to thank you and your staff, Bill, and the DPW department. And also Counselor Anderson and I were there when the residents came out. And Bill, where are you? I was looking for Bill Dorr because we had a long meeting and the residents had a lot of concerns. So I just appreciate you for answering those. I'm sure the other counselors do as well, because we get those calls when they say somebody's speeding down my street, where the police officer. So thank you so much for taking care of this, and there's more to come. We know that. We realize that, Bill, but this is another step in the right direction, right? Okay, thank you. So at this time, there's a motion and a second to approve the resolution. All those in favor? To lay it over, I'm sorry, yes. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no, nay. Motion carries. And you're correct, that was a layover.
Item 8C is consideration of ordinance 3759 to create section 1.13 sub 31 and to amend 1.14 sub 1 and sub 2 of the Code of General Ordinances of the City of Beloit pertaining to city electoral ward boundaries and polling places, first reading.
And our city clerk, will you present?
The City Council approved redistricting maps, wards, and polling locations on May 16th, 2022, as a result of the 2020 U.S. Census. Due to a recent annexation of a property, the City of Beloit had to construct a new voting ward to accommodate the property's voting district combination. Due to the consolidation of polling locations for the August primary, Ward 31 will vote at Beloit Historical Society, and due to the time constraint, we are asking that you suspend the rules.
Okay, so thank you. And I think, okay, so this is the first reading of an ordinance. Is there a motion to suspend the rules to allow? Okay, there is a motion by Vice President Forbeck. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Blakely. Are there any questions or discussion? At this time, there is a motion and a second to suspend the rules. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. Now, may I please have a motion to approve the ordinance? Is there a motion?
I so move.
Moved by Vice President Forbeck. Is there a second? Second by Councilor Levy. Are there any further questions or discussion? At this time, there's a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Motion carries.
Item 9 is appointments. The individuals named below have been nominated for a seat on a city board, committee, or commission. Each nomination is subject to confirmation by the City Council. Approval of appointment will be accomplished by one motion unless a council member requests to take up a nomination separately, in which event the nomination will be removed from the general order of business and considered at this point on the agenda.
May I please have a motion to approve? Moved by Councilor Levy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Terrell. Are there any questions or discussion? At this time, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
Item 10 is councilor activities and upcoming events.
I believe this time we'll start with Councilor Blakely. No report. Okay, Councilor Levy. Councilor Anderson.
Well, I guess we have to shame one of our council members here, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Councilor Terrell.
Happy
Thank you,
birthday.
thank you.
Yay.
You gonna sing?
No, I can't sing.
I'm not. No.
Clinton's gonna sing for
No.
you.
Nope, absolutely not. And then we also have a couple other late-ish birthdays here. Interim Economic Development Director Drew Pennington had a birthday, I believe. Yeah.
Birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hey, Drew, happy birthday.
And our city manager also had a birthday too.
Yeah, happy birthday.
So happy birthday to all of you, and Marquise, have the right amount of fun, okay?
I'm gonna try.
I just wanted to also say I had my last individual meeting with our city manager. It's been great to have you here. My entire time on council, you've been here, and it's been great to have you as part of the team on the city of Beloit. And best of luck, and congrats on going back home. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Councilor Anderson. Counselor Day.
I do not have a report tonight. Thank you.
Counselor Terrell.
First of all, it is my 33rd birthday today, my Scottie Pippen. But it was very important for me to come to this council meeting. The one thing I always wanted in the world is to be one of the significant figures in my city to make a change, and I don't care if I break a leg walking through the door. I'm gonna come to a city council meeting as long as I can help it. So I definitely want to take the time out on my birthday to be here, and I plan on spending some of that time with my son when I'm done here, and definitely glad for all my colleagues up here and all the happy birthdays, things y'all sent to me. I really appreciate that. Secondly, I will report. I got two things to report on. I did a physical fitness community group with Yusuf Adama July 16th, like 2 days ago. And, as a councilman, people try to get some advice from me on how, because I lift some pretty heavy weights. So I just went down there, gave some pointers on some things that I learned when I lived in Mississippi and played football down there that I brought up here and that I try to teach the young people, especially kids in athletics and like football, basketball, try to teach them how to increase their strength gains to improve their athleticism. So I went down there on the 16th to talk to some young adults about how I do things, and they see some of the videos I post on social media, and they see a 385-pound incline bench press, and they wonder how I do it. I just give them the tips on that. And then last but not least, a friend of mine, James Ford Jr., got a certificate of appreciation from the Beloit Police Department. So I will say on October the 6th, he observed some heavily damaged vehicles out there near Chaupier Road. And it was surrounded, vehicles surrounded by smoke. He saw some injured passengers and a child in the back seat, one of the cars, and he had reached through the passenger side and smashed the window out with his elbow, and grabbed the child out. Her mother was stuck in the front seat. He couldn't help her out at the moment, but he did get the child out, and he held on to the child for at least almost up to an hour until her father arrived. I talked to my friend about this, my buddy James Ford. He told me the child didn't want to leave him. He showed me some pictures of the child, and still to this day he keeps in touch with him. So I want to say, given my friends, he had some problems in the past, served his debts to society, and definitely gives back to the youth and does a lot of things with young people out here in the city of Beloit. And I want him to know that James Ford, if you're watching, I love you, man, for your heroic efforts, saving that child and getting that award, man. You came a long way, and I'm very proud of you. So I just wanted to put that out there. And thank you. That ends my report.
Yeah. Thank you, Councilor Terrell. That's a wonderful thing. Vice President Forbeck.
Yes, I have a couple thoughts. First of all, we do need more people to come on our city committees, and the Equal Opportunities Commission especially. It's a committee that is important, where we can get some real work that needs to be done, but we need our community members to step forward. So I'm hoping some people will do that. And I do also want to say I took the time to attend a Parks and Recreation committee meeting. Marquise was there also because he's really the contact with our council. But I went there because there were a couple issues, and I just want to say I was very pleased with the conversation that committee had. Bill Frisbie, I thought, ran a great meeting, and his answers were really clear. And afterwards, I was talking to one of the committee members who has been on the committee for a little over a year, I think, and said that they'd never had such a great conversation at that committee meeting in the time that she had been there. So I think that was a compliment. not only to the staff, but to the committee. So I learned a lot, and things are getting done. So that's it.
Thank you, Councilor Forbeck. So I want to begin tonight by sending my heartfelt condolences and sympathy to the Henry family. I was sad to hear about the passing of Mary Henry last week. She was the wife of the late Hugo Henry, and many of you may remember Hugo was one of our past council presidents. Mary was a sweet, caring person who loved her family, Emmanuel Baptist Church, and the Beloit community. Let's keep the Henry family in our thoughts and prayers during this difficult time. Now for my counselor report. I attended the Appointment Review Committee meeting and the Plan Commission meeting. I encourage residents, just as Councilor Forbeck did, to consider serving on one of our committees. If you're interested in volunteering and putting your talent to good use, you can simply call our Executive Assistant, Brandy Lee Antonio, at 608-364-6614, or you can go to our City of Beloit website. Also, being the new council representative on the Plan Commission, I am happy to report that the commissioners will be taking responsibility for more activities. So I know this will enhance the workload of our city staff, but I really appreciate everyone's efforts in taking this on, and especially Julie Christensen, our Community Development Director, and her staff for their support and hard work. Way to go. So, got to give you a hand on that one, because it makes us happy when we can make our residents happy, right? Also, I want to congratulate our city staff on their new positions. Elizabeth Krieger will be our interim city manager effective August 5th. Bill Frisbie is the interim Department of Public Works Director, and Drew Pennington is the interim Economic Development Director and President and CEO of the Greater Beloit Economic Development Corporation. We have made some changes, but they are also opportunities. Thanks to each of you for stepping up in these leadership roles and for helping us to keep the city of Beloit moving forward. You are all truly appreciated. And in closing, I want to wish Deputy Chief Joe Murray a happy retirement. Deputy Chief Murray, we are grateful for your 28 years of service and dedication to the City of Beloit Fire Department, and we wish you all the best. This ends my council report for this evening. Next, item 11.
City manager presentation. There is none. Item 12 is reports from boards and city officers. There is none. Item 13 is adjournment.
Moved by Councilor Levy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Terrell. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Of course, that motion passes, and we are now adjourned. This ends our city council meeting for this evening.